Okay, welcome back. We are beginning another series of JAMB mathematics, and this particular series will be solving the equation of 2021, and we have before us question 1. Solve the equation 2 all over 2r minus 1 minus 5 over 3 equals to 1 all over r plus 2. We have options A, B, C, D. So when we finish solving, we find out which of them is correct. Okay, let's begin. Solution to this question. Now first, we are given 2 over 2r minus 1 minus 5 over 3 equals to 1 all over r plus 2. First thing we will do here, we multiply through this whole equation by a common LCM. So multiplying, let me put it down, multiply through by a common LCM. So we have denominator here to be 2r minus 1, we have here to be 3, we have here to be r plus 2. So we just multiply through with all this. So let me join that. That will be 3 into 2r minus 1 times r plus 2. So if we multiply this whole equation, each of this, and this by this, you agree with me that we are going to have something like this, that for this one, if we multiply through this by this, we find out that, okay, let me do it this way. Let me rewrite that. So that will now be 3 into 2r minus 1 then times r plus 2. We are using that to multiply this one. Let's use it to multiply this one first, so that will be a bit self-explanatory, that way you're going through it to be easier. Okay, so I'm using this to multiply through that, then minus for this now 3 into 2r minus 1 r plus 2, then we are using that to multiply 5 over 2, or 3 rather, 5 over 3, 5 over 3. Okay, we still have equals to here, so we're using this same thing to multiply that. That is 3 into 2r minus 1, then we have r plus 2, and everything is multiplying 1 all over r plus 2 plus 2. So everything is multiplying. Okay, I have to do that so that you understand what we are dealing with. So let's go over them. Now we have a denominator here. This is 2r minus 1, and we have this whole thing is a numerator. This is numerator over 1. So if you want to over 1 numerator, so this guy, this we cancel, this we eliminate that, so that is out. So for the top now, we are now left with 3 times this bracket times this. So 3 times 2 is 6, so we have 6. Okay, 3 times 2 is 6. Now into, we have this bracket left there, then r plus 2, r plus 2. Now let's go to the next one. We have a minus sign there, so I'm going to indicate that minus. Now we have 3 here, we have 3 here. So by the time this 3, we cancel this 3, that will be out. So we'll be left with 5 here. So we have 5 into 2r minus 1. Then we now have r plus 2. r plus 2. So we have that. Now let me continue this in the next page, and that will be equals to, this whole thing is equals to the next one, let's go to the next row. For the next row now, we see this is going to cancel this. Okay, so this is going to cancel this. If this cancels this, we are left with 3 with this bracket, 3 into this bracket times 1. So we have just 3 into 2r minus 1. So that is what we have left there. Now let's clear this bracket in the next line. So I'm going to use this to clear this. So 6 times r, I have 6r plus 6 times 2, I have 12. Now I'm going to clear these 2 brackets, so I will still have my minus 5 into, now let's just do that together. So I will use this bracket to operate this. So 2r times r, 2r times r will give me 2r squared. 2r times plus 2 will give me plus 4r, plus 4r, stay in that bracket. Now I'm done with using 2r, so I'm going to use minus 1. So minus 1 times r, I will have minus r. That is minus 1 times r, I have minus r. Now minus 1 times plus 2, I have minus 2. Minus 2. So I have all that. Now don't forget, we are done with this. So let's move to this place. This one now. That was our equals to. Now I'm going to use this 3 to open up this bracket. So 3 times 2r, that will give us 6r. 3 times minus 1 will give us minus 3. Give us minus 3. I hope we are making progress. Yes. So we still maintain this. So that is 6r plus 12 minus 5 into, we have our 2r squared plus 4 minus r. These two are like terms, so we can actually work them out. So plus 4 minus 1 plus 4r minus 1r will give us plus 3r. Now we still have our minus 2, which should be equals to what we have here, 6r minus 3. 6r minus 3. So we have that. Now we try to open up this bracket using this 5, using this 5 to open up this bracket. So we have our 6r plus 12 plus 12. Now minus 5 times 2r squared, we have minus 10r squared. Minus 5 times plus 3. Minus 5 times plus 3, we have minus 15r. We have minus 15r. Minus 15r. Now minus 5 times minus 2, we have plus 10. And this is equals to what we have here, 6r minus 3. So we have that. Now I'm going to try to collect like terms here and move everybody to one side. So let's collect like terms. So that will be 6r from here. Now I have minus 15r. I'm going to move this 6 out, this one here, over to this other side. So I have minus 6r, because this is plus 6r, so I'm moving it over. We have minus 6r. Now let's go over to the next one, minus 10r squared. That is the only r squared we have. Then we move on. For the constant, the numbers here without r, so we have plus 2. So let me bring it here, plus 2, plus 12 rather, plus 12. So we have plus 12. We move on. Now we have another constant here, another number here, plus 10. Now let's move this minus 3 over to that side as well. So we have plus 3. That will be equals to 0. Remember, we have moved, that is 0. We have moved everything from this side over to that side. So we can go ahead and solve this. Now 6r minus 15r. That will give us 9r. minus 9r rather. 6r minus 15r will give us minus 9r. Now we continue. Now we have minus 9r. So minus 9r minus 6r. That will give us minus 15r. 15r. So we have minus 15r. Now we have our minus 10r square. Now let's go over to the constant. 12 plus 10 is 22. 22 plus 3, that is 25. So plus 25 equals to 0. Equals to 0. So we have that. Equals to 0. Now the next thing we want to do here is to rearrange this quadratic equation so that we'll have it in a better form. So I'm going to move all what we have here, we'll move it to this other side. Then we have our 0. Now I'm beginning with this. So minus 10r squared, if I move it to this side, becomes plus 10r squared. Plus 10r squared. Now this is minus 15r. If I move it to this other side, it becomes plus 15r. Now this is plus 25. So if I move it to this side, it becomes minus 25. If I move it to this other side, because I'm just rearranging it to get a better form of quadratic expression, quadratic equation. So that is equals to 0. So all what we did was rearrange it. Take this over, we have this, it becomes a positive. Take this over, it becomes a positive. Take this over, it becomes a negative. So we have this. Now we have this quadratic equation to solve. Now if you have been following our videos, you find out that we have been using factorization method all through, and it has been easier doing that. So what I'm going to do is that if you multiply this last term by the first term, you multiply minus 25 times 10r squared. If you multiply this by this, you will be having minus 250r squared. That will be the product. Then you already have this middle term to be your sum. So you get two numbers that if you multiply them, they will give you minus 250r squared. And if you sum them together, you will be given plus 15r. And those two numbers are minus 10r and plus 25r. We have done that repeatedly in our other videos. So I'm going to use those two numbers to replace this plus 15r. So I'll be having 10r squared plus 25r minus 10r. So that will be used to replace this. I have already done that. I've experimented that in other videos. So go and check that out. So minus 25 equals to 0. Equals to 0. So the next thing I'm going to do is to group this. So I'm going to group this and group this. So if we group this, we find out what is common. Here, if you find out at this point, 5r is common here in this bracket. That is a common number that can divide this and also divide this. So that is common. 5r is common. So 5r will go into this. That is to say 10r squared divided by 5r. 5 will divide 10, you have 2. R squared divided by r, you have only r left. So plus 5 will divide 25, you have 5. R will divide r, you are left with 1 there. Now 10r and 25r. What is common there is 5. So we have minus 5. Just 5. Because 5 can divide 10r, we have 2r. Now we have our minus. Now because there is a minus here, this minus will eventually affect this minus 25. That is, if I say minus 25 divided by minus 5, I'll be left with plus 5. Plus 5. Plus 5. Now let's move on. Now if you notice, this bracket and this bracket are equal. What is here is equals to what we have here. So I'm going to pick you can begin by picking what you have outside and picking what you have inside. So whichever way you want, but let me begin with the outside. So I have 5r minus 5, that is, pick this and pick this, I enclose them. Then these brackets are equal, so I'm just going to pick one of them, 2r plus 5, and everything is equals to 0 because even this first equation is equals to 0, so it was equals to 0. So we have that. Now you agree with me that if two numbers multiply themselves to get 0, it means that either the first one is equals to 0 or the second one is equals to 0. So if these two brackets multiply to get 0, it means that 5r minus 5 is equals to 0, or 2r minus 5 is equals to 0. So either of this case is okay for what we have there. It's valid for that expression. So let me take this over to the next page. Now we can continue here by having 5r to be equals to 5. What I did was I moved this minus 5 over to the side. There I have 0 plus 5 because this is minus 5. Moving there becomes plus 5. So 0 plus 5, it gives me 5. Or let's treat this. This is 2r is equals to minus 5. So I did the same thing here. I moved this plus 5 over to this side, becomes 0 minus 5, which is minus 5. Now divide both sides here by 5. Divide here by 5. This will divide. I will have r. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we have r left there. 5 divided by 5, I have 1. Or this, I have, if I divide both sides by 2, divide here by 2. 2 will divide 2. We have only r left because 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times r is r, which is equals to minus 5 over 2. We leave that in fraction because we have our options. There's a part that is in fraction. So let's pick that. If we pick this, we find out that our r will be equals to 1 or minus 5 over 2. 1 or minus 5 over 2, which is the answer to this question. And if you check through the options, you find out that the correct answer to this question is option B. Option B is the correct answer to this question.